All right, we're going to go ahead in 3, 2, 1. You're on the air.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, as always, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, so would everybody please rise? And Councilman Shano, would you lead us? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember all our military personnel, our veterans, and our military that's fighting to keep our freedom now, also our first responders, and our medical personnel, the doctors and nurses that are helping us through this pandemic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us this evening for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. As I stated earlier, at 6 p.m., the Town Board met in executive session with Comptroller Marianne Maxwell and Town Engineer Richard Franzetti, and they were both regarding personnel matters. And also, our Deputy Highway Superintendent Mike Martin met with the board in executive session also to discuss a personnel matter. So, for the record, all Town Board members are present with us this evening, as is our Town Clerk, Ann Spofford, as always for voting meetings. Ann is here with us to record the minutes of the meeting. And so tonight we have two meetings. Our first is a Town Board voting meeting. That'll be the first portion of the meeting. And the second part of tonight's meeting is the Town Board work session. So we combine two meetings tonight, voting and work session meetings. But before we get started on the Town Board voting meeting, I have the honor and the privilege to present our retiring Chief of Police, Mike Kazari, with a plaque, and also Patrolman Tommy Johansson, who's here with us tonight, to present him with a plaque as well. Both of these officers, after a long and great career with the Town of Carmel Police Department, have decided to retire. And the Chief's retirement will take effect July 31st, which is in not too much more time, Chief, about 8 days. So 8 days. So the Chief has been with us for 34 years. He joined the department in 1986, January 20th of 1986, and it's through July 31st of 2020. But I want to say, and he has his family with him here tonight, his entire family, his 5 children, his wife, and I believe one of his daughter's boyfriends are here with us tonight. Is that correct? Okay, so thank you all for being here for your dad and maybe your future father-in-law as he goes into retirement. So we're going to be giving, so we're going to be giving him a nice little send-off here tonight, and acknowledging him for all that he's done for the Town of Carmel and its residents over the past 34 years, and rising to the rank of Chief of Police, which is not that easily attainable, but Mike Kazari attained that, and he did it with distinction, with honor and dedication to the residents of the Town of Carmel. He served with tremendous pride for all 34 years, and I just want to go over with him his timeline of his, all of his appointments since he's been here, and his timeline up to Chief. So Chief Kazari was hired as a patrolman on January 20th of 1986. He was promoted to sergeant on December 16th of 1999. Then he was promoted to lieutenant on November 26th of 2002. Lieutenant Kazari was appointed commanding officer of the department on December 5th, 2013, when then Chief Johnson retired. So we appointed Chief Kazari as commanding officer. Lieutenant Kazari at the time. Lieutenant Kazari was appointed provisional chief on March 5th of 2014. Chief, am I correct so far on these dates? I believe I am. So he was appointed provisional chief in 2014. Provisional Police Chief Kazari was appointed probationary chief on May 20th, 2015. And then on November 15th, 6 months later of 2015, Chief Kazari was made permanent chief. So Chief Kazari's been chief since November 15th of 2015. So he's been chief for 5 years. And he's done a remarkable job with the department as chief for those past 5 years. And I just want to read this off to you. I wish Chief Kazari the best as he starts his new chapter of his life. It was an honor and privilege to work alongside Chief Kazari for many years when both he and I served together on the Town of Carmel Police Department. Chief Kazari has been instrumental in the success of the Carmel Police Department. He has dedicated experience, knowledge, and expertise in law enforcement. He brought a lot of great changes to the department, and we're certainly losing a great deal of institutional knowledge, Chief. Chief Kazari believed in professionalism through continuous improvement. I know he believed in that because that's what he practiced all the time. In closing, I would like to thank Chief Kazari for his leadership, professionalism, and unwavering dedication to duty while serving and protecting citizens of the town of Carmel. And he certainly did that because the town of Carmel is ranked number 23 nationwide of one of the safest towns throughout the nation, ranked number 23. And you don't just get that, you know, they don't just hand that out to any municipality, municipal police department in the United States. So they look at stats, they look at crime stats, and they look at different categories in order for them to arrive at that ranking for the town of Carmel. So we're very proud. I know the chief is proud of that ranking that his department has attained over the years. So I'm going to miss you, Chief. Chief Kazari and I worked together as patrolmen, and Chief Kazari became my sergeant, then he became a lieutenant, and then I decided to retire in January of 2007, and the chief stayed, and I came here. So we've really been working together continuously, just in different capacities. And I've had the pleasure of working with the chief, and you can't find a much nicer gentleman and somebody that truly, truly cared and dedicated himself to all the residents of the town of Carmel day in and day out. And I know my colleagues would share my sentiments as well. So if they want to say anything, guys, before we present the plaque, go ahead and say something about the chief.
I promise it's not going to be a roast. No, but Mike, I just want to thank you as a friend, as a leader, for myself, my family, and the community. You have been an inspiration. You're just a great human being that everybody can relate to, and we have been blessed. I know I'm going to start crying. We have been, blessed to have you. So I want to thank you, and I wish you well with your next endeavors. It's going to be awesome. And Doreen, classmate, graduating. Yep. And all you, the kids, just be so proud of Dad. I mean, if you can follow anybody, follow his footsteps. Just an incredible man. So thank you, Mike. Chief.
Frank?
Yeah, sure. So since I joined the town board in 2009, Chief Kazari, Lieutenant Kazari at the time, we worked together for over 10 years. I did see a notation on Kenny's timeline. There was a little asterisk that said when he had hair, but he didn't mention it. So, but that was pretty far up the list.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, it was my pleasure to be part of the board that appointed you as chief. We've had, over our 10 years, lots of laughs together, but we also had very, very serious conversations about the safety of this town and the residents, and there was no one more whose opinion I trusted more with regard to the safety of my family, and that's one of the reasons why you were selected, and I voted for you as chief at the time. And I continue and will continue to look and speak to you with regard to safety issues and policing generally, but I want to thank you for everything that you've done for the residents of the town of Carmel and for me personally.
Great. Thanks, Frank. Bob, did you?
Also, I'd like to thank you also, Chief, for all your dedicated years of service. The short time that I've been working here, you've been inspirational, you've been a great leader, and you're going to be a hard act to follow for sure. And I wish you well, and from me and my family, and your future endeavors. Thank you.
The chief and his family know how I feel about them, and usually, Kenny, we always tease you about rambling off on something, but tonight you hit it on all points. The best this police department's ever run has been in the last 6 years, bottom line. And I personally am going to miss you.
Great. Thank you, board members. So at this time, Chief, I'm going to present you with an official plaque for your retirement. So if you come up front here, does the board want to join me?
6 feet away.
Is anybody here to take a picture? Can, you guys want to take some pictures?
I'm sure Bob Thomas will take it from the...
Bob, you want to take a picture? Yeah, all would be, yeah. Yes. It's wonderful to hear you. You guys good? Okay. Right, so Chief, this is a plaque we'll be presenting to you tonight for all your continuous years of dedication and commitment to the residents of the town of Carmel Police Department. The community is certainly going to miss you as the head law enforcement officer. I'm going to miss working with you side by side, but I'm sure I'm going to see you out in the lake and other places around the town as well. So Chief, this is going to read the plaque off. The town of Carmel acknowledges with deep gratitude Police Chief Michael Pizzari for his 34 years of dedicated public service in the town of Carmel Police Department, January 20th, 1986 through July 31st, 2020. And we put some stars on it too. So there's 2 stars on each side of the town seal because the chief wears stars. So we thought it would be nice to put some stars on here for the future. So it's a nice touch, and it's going to look nice up in your house somewhere, wherever you decide to put it. So if you guys want to take some pictures now? Well, you want to take one from over there? Okay, Chief. Thank you very much. Okay, we have one more plaque to present to one of our other, we have 4 officers that are retiring. The chief, a sergeant, a detective, and a patrolman. The sergeant and detective couldn't be with us tonight. It's Sergeant Robert Bagnerol is retiring also, and Detective Frank Chabarro is retiring as well. So we're losing a lot of veteran officers to retirement this year, and 3 at the end of this month. Tommy's going to be here a little bit longer, but Tommy's is going to be retiring also. So we have a very young department, a lot of new officers, but we have our veterans that have decided that they're going to retire and move on with their personal lives and whatever they choose to do after that. We wish them the best of luck in their retirement and great success after that. So the next presentation is for Patrolman Thomas Johansson. Tommy Johansson has been a cop forever, Tommy, it seems. I worked with Tommy downstairs in the PD. We worked alongside of each other. We were in the same squad together for many years, and it was a pleasure working with Tommy. Tommy takes his job as law enforcement very seriously. He always has. He was completely and 100% committed and dedicated to his job as a police officer, and he's always performed it to the highest standards and the highest levels of any police officer that probably could. And Tommy, we're going to certainly miss you on the streets of the town of Carmel as a patrolman, and you know, the community's going to miss you also. They're going to miss seeing you out there pulling cars over, doing commercial vehicle inspections, which Tommy was the #1 V&T man in the town of Carmel for many years, V&T cop. So, and he took his job seriously, and he took vehicle traffic enforcement very seriously also. He was part of our traffic safety unit that we had here in the town of Carmel that was dedicated to vehicle and traffic enforcement. And one of the things that he really keyed on and focused on was commercial vehicles, because he knew how dangerous a commercial vehicle could be without brakes, or if the brakes were failing, or if it had other mechanical issues on it, and it was traveling on our roads, our public roadways. So Tommy made sure that, you know, when he saw a truck that seemed to have issues mechanically. He would pull that vehicle over, do a complete inspection of it, and he would actually take it off the road if he had to. So Tommy, we appreciate that, and the residents of the town of Carmel appreciated your dedication with that. Tommy was a detective for a period of time, but he loved being a uniformed patrol officer, so Tommy had requested at one point to go back to patrol, and so he's in patrol now, but he was a heck of an investigator also, investigating crimes throughout the community as a detective during that period of time. He was doing that. So he's also a volunteer fireman in Mahopac. So he's called out in the middle of the night. When the fire department is called out, Tommy responds as well, and he's going to continue doing that. And you know, he's just one of these guys that he's a cop's cop. He was always there for the community, similar to Chief Kazari. He always cared, you know, deeply about the residents and their well-being in this community. So, Tommy, I want to thank you. I believe you came here in 1998. Is that when you started here? But he was a police officer. He started his career in the town of Kent, and then he went over to the town of Putnam Valley, and then he came over here to the town of Carmel. So, is it total? How many total years, Tommy? 35. So 35 years, similar to the chief, with 34 years. So Tommy had 35 years on the job, but he's been here since 1998. So Tommy, I wish you great success in your retirement. You're going to be here for another month and a half or so, but when you do finally retire, I wish you all the best, you and your family, and you know, Godspeed. And continue to be in the community and around. And, you know, I'm always going to miss you, seeing you out on the road, and I know quite a few people are as well. And your brother and sister police officers are going to miss working alongside of you as well. With that veteran experience I talked about earlier, you know, we're losing that when veterans retire, losing that out there in the field. So once again, thank you for your service to the residents of the town of Carmel. We wish you all the best and success in your future endeavors, Tommy. Thank you. I have a plaque for you also. Johansson, this plaque is on behalf of the town board, presented to you. The town of Carmel acknowledges with deep gratitude Police Officer Thomas Johansson for your 22 years of dedicated public service in and for the town of Carmel Police Department, January 26, 1998 through September 10, 2020.
Thanks, Tommy. I hear they're going to have a party filling up Giant Stadium with landscapers and truck drivers that used to come through Mahopac.
All the best, Tom. Okay. All right. Good night, guys. Thanks again, Chief. All right. Good night, Kazari family. Thanks for being here for your dad. Bye.
Good night.
All the best. Don't make him work too hard at the house, Doreen. You got a long list of projects for him? All right.
We're going to miss
Okay.
We're going to miss those two people.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're gonna miss those two, absolutely. With that, Frank Chabar also, and Rob Bagnerol. We're gonna miss them. Okay, so that was nice. That was always good to do. It's always pleasant, and that's you know, something we all should be proud of when we have a retiring police officer with the amount of time and years that they dedicated to the town of Carmel. So we thank them and wish them all the luck. So I need a motion to open the town board voting meeting.
Second?
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the first resolution tonight, the first item is to accept the town board minutes of June 24th and July 1st of 2020. I need a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Second?
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. To accept the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Resolution number 1 this evening is a resolution authorizing adjournment of a public hearing. So Councilman Channel, would you please read resolution number 1?
Whereas on November 20th, 2019, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel duly authorized the acceptance of a proposal for professional services to be rendered by Nelson Pope and Voorhees LLC, Melville, New York, to the Town of Carmel for the development, preparation, and adoption of the new comprehensive plan for the Town of Carmel, as well as overall amendments and revisions to the Town Code of the Town of Carmel. And whereas the process of development of the updated comprehensive plan and Town Code amendments revisions has commenced but has been finalized or completed at the present time. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby determines it to be in the best interest of the residents of the town to defer any proposed revisions and/or petitions for proposed revision to the Town Code until such time as the comprehensive plan and Town Code revisions amendments are completed and/or adopted, including but not limited to the petition for amendments to Chapter 156 of the Town Code entitled Zoning, submitted by Willowwood Country Club, Incorporated, DBA Willowwood Gun Club, and dated on or about January 2nd, 2020. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and directs the adjournment of the previously noticed to be held on the 22nd of July, 2020 at 7 p.m. on a local law amending Chapter 156 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Zoning, and be it further resolved that such amendment of the referenced public hearing shall be without date and subject to renotice and publication in conformance with all provisions of New York State law. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Channel, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel?
Yes.
There's no, no.
No, not at this time, no. No. Public comment is at the end of the meeting. So you would have to wait until the end of the meeting to comment on any agenda items that we covered this evening. So this is just an agenda item. You can comment on it, but you can comment at the end of the conclusion of the voting meeting. Roll call
Continue?
vote?
Okay, so Councilman Channel was
Yes.
yes. Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you. So the motion carried 5-0, 5 yes. So,
Just let them know that the public hearing that's scheduled at the bottom of the agenda.
yeah. So ladies and gentlemen that are here for the public hearing tonight, that's scheduled, that has been noticed and scheduled, that public hearing is now canceled due to town board action by resolution canceling the meeting. So that will not be heard this evening. So if you're here for the public hearing is not going to be held due to the action that the board just took by resolution canceling it. Okay, so you're welcome to stay. If you'd like to stay, it's entirely up to you, but we will not be holding that public hearing tonight. Ma'am? Excuse me? It would have to be noticed and scheduled, and the board hasn't done that. The board's not taking that action tonight to reschedule it or renotice it. We would have to reschedule it and renotice it, and the town clerk would have to republish it and notice it if we were going to do that. We have no intention of doing that tonight. Okay? If we do decide to do that in the future, you'll be notified of that by,
Well, on the agenda.
well, it will be on the agenda, and it'll be noticed and published in the local newspapers as well.
Can that-
Yes.
Yes. It's on this matter, right. If this matter was to go to another public hearing, if there was a public hearing that this board wanted to schedule for that, it would be noticed by the town clerk. We would have to notice that, and it would be on the agenda if we were going to do that.
So right now, it's adjourned without a
It's
date.
adjourned right now.
Without a date. There's no date for another public hearing on it.
Well, we don't know.
That-
It may not. It may not. But it's entirely up to this board if they decide to hold another public hearing on the matter, then the board would make that decision. But right now, I can tell you that there's no decision been made on that at this time.
It can't be, no action can be taken without a public hearing. Yeah, so Counsel Greg Fulchetti it's adjourned without a date. Any further action will be renoticed and republished so the public and the petitioner will know. Okay? So it's adjourned without a date for the reasons set forth in the resolution. All right?
Okay? Yeah.
And Greg's.
Greg said it?
I got it.
Okay. All right, Greg. All right, sorry, I didn't see that, Greg. Okay, all right. Okay. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes so the public can leave the meeting. Okay, good night.
Good
night,
night, everyone.
Okay. Okay, next resolution, number 2, is a resolution designating and appointing an interim commanding officer of the Town of Carmel Police Department, and that would be Lieutenant John Dearman. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 2, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of the Town of Carmel Police Department, hereby designates and appoints Lieutenant John R. Dearman as interim commanding officer for the Town of Carmel Police Department, effective August 1st, 2020. And be further resolved that this appointment and the duties and responsibilities of Lieutenant John R. Dearman as commanding officer shall continue until such time as the Town Board makes a provisional appointment of a new chief of police for the Town of Carmel Police Department. I offer this resolution as read.
I'll second it.
Okay, so seconded by Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Shannell, and I'll second that also, and I'm sure Councilman Borelli would as well. So, roll call vote?
So, second by everyone?
Yes, second by everyone. You would second that,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Oh, second. Well, I can't. I
It's a
made a motion.
universal second.
That's,
And a
Everybody
universal-
seconded it.
thank you.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes,
Councilman
with pleasure.
Borelli.
Mike?
One of the few times I'll say yes with pleasure, too.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes, with pleasure.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes. Motion carried. It's unanimous. Lieutenant John Dearman, as of August 1st, because Chief Kazari will be here until July 31st, so August 1st, Lieutenant John Dearman will be the commanding officer of the Town of Carmel Police Department until the board completes their search for successor replacement chief to Chief Kazari, and that's ongoing. So we'll continue that vetting, that process out, and noticing that, and advertising for that, the chief's position, and the board will be interviewing candidates for that.
And John's another one of those cops that put his time in and deserve this.
Oh, absolutely,
deserves
yeah.
this.
Yeah, he sure does, yeah. John's done an excellent job as lieutenant for the past 4 years now, and I'm certain that he'll do an excellent job as acting commanding officer of the department until a chief successor is determined who that is and appointed. Okay, next resolution, number 3, is a resolution authorizing the renaming of town roads. Highway Superintendent Mike Simone. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 3?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby authorizes the renaming of the town road currently known as Birch Lane to Birch Hill, and be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon recommendation of the Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby authorizes the renaming of Town Road currently known as Cross Drive to Cross Lane. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kenny, I'm sorry, just something, does like 911 and like the fire departments and emergency departments all know about these changes now after we vote for it?
After we vote for it.
They're gonna know
They'll
about
get a
it?
copy, they get a copy of the resolution. A
Okay.
certified copy of the resolution goes to the Putnam County 911 Center,
Okay.
and they make their changes in their system based on our,
And that automatically goes to the fire departments?
yes, is that correct, Greg?
Yes, and your inventory of roads will be updated with the changes.
our inventory of roads will be updated with the changes.
Perfect, thank
So
you.
this way, there's no confusion between the names of the roads.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Greg.
Kenny, if you see me texting, it's just texting with Greg.
With Greg?
Yeah.
All right. And you did a roll call on this, right?
Yes, I did.
You did, okay. All right, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution pursuant to Chapter 104 of the Town Code of Town of Carmel, Putnam County Golf Club. Councilman Borelli, would you read 4, please?
Resolved that pursuant to Town Code 104-8, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby waives the application of Chapter 104 of the Town Code entitled Noise with respect to the County of Putnam and its Friday Night Barbecue Series. The event is scheduled for the following dates at Putnam County Golf Club: July 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st, August 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th, September 4th and 12th, and October 2nd, all of the year 2020. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. I'm not sure, so
I-
three of these dates, or 2 of these dates have already passed, and they haven't had it, for obvious reasons, the barbecue, the summer barbecue series at the Putnam County Golf Club. So I don't know if there's been a decision made or not to have these at all this year. Susie was just asking me if I knew had I heard
Yeah.
anything. I haven't heard, but since 2 dates have passed without having it, there's a good chance that they may not have it at all. But we have to, if they do,
If
at
they
some
do,
point
yeah.
in September or October, if they have those dates, then they'll
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
have this approval.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
As long
but
as
I guess
everybody wears
it's
masks. and-
uncertain at
yeah,
this point
yeah, just-
whether or not they're going to have them.
Yep, okay.
All right. The next resolution, number 5, is a resolution approving an application for education stipend of Police Officer Travis Lash. Councilman Channell, would you read 5, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Chief of Police Michael Kazari, hereby approves the request for education stipend of Police Officer Travis Lash for Nichols College and authorizes payment of $900 to Travis Lash. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
And Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution authorizing payment for wet tap excavation at the airport park. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 6, please?
Sure, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Director of Recreation and Parks, James R. Gilchrist, hereby authorizes the payment of $5,674.60 to Ed Cook Excavation, Inc., Carmel, New York, for excavation services performed in connection with the wet tap main at Airport Park in the Town of Carmel. And be further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilman Channell. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution authorizing contract for 2020 tree felling and trimming, Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 7?
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel had previously authorized advertisement for the solicitation of bids for various highway materials and services for the Town of Carmel Highway Department for fiscal year 2020. And whereas after receiving and opening such bids, it was determined that there were no bidders submitted for tree felling and trimming services for 2020, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni, hereby awards the 2020 contract for tree felling and trimming to Michael A. Niglari, Tree Services, Inc., Mahopac, New York, at the 2019 bid price of $2,295 daily and $286.87 per hour. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Oh, yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 8, is a resolution authorizing purchase of capital equipment purchases for the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Borelli, would you read 8, please?
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously authorized capital borrowing and funding authorizing the purchase of certain capital equipment and vehicles for the Town of Carmel Highway Department in the year 2020. And whereas Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone has solicited bids pursuant to the New York General Municipal Law for such capital equipment. And a copy of the memorandum summarizing bids and recommending the award of bids as set forth herein is on file in the office of the Town Supervisor. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts the recommendation of the Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone and hereby authorizes the purchase of the following capital equipment. 1, 2020 New Holland flail mower. Tractor per New York State contract, PC 67087, and flail arm per New York State contract, PC 68200, from Westchester Tractor, Inc., vendor number 4322, at a cost not to exceed $134,422.38. 1 John Deere 624L loader per New York State OGS contract, PC 67075 JDC contract number 032119-JDC from Jesco Corp., vendor 3084, at a cost not to exceed $184,216.84. Third, 1 2021 International 6-wheel 4x4 dump plow with a plow, wing, and sander from Navistar vendor number 10933 per Onondaga bid 8996 at a cost not to exceed $256,012.96. Be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make all budgetary transfers necessary to effect this authorization and purchase. I offer this resolution as read.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote.
Can I just bring something
Sure.
to the Town Board's attention? In paragraph 2, it says the Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone had solicited bids. That was not done. These were bids, these are purchases that are going to be purchases under state bid or county bid.
So all 3 were under state bid.
Well, the 2 are state and 1 is county.
Can you hear that, Greg?
I can hear you talking about, what's the issue?
It says that they were solicited, I'm sorry,
Solicited bids.
so they were solicited bids?
But Annie is saying that 2 of them were county bids and 1 was state, correct, Annie?
Right. There were no bids solicited by the Town of Carmel
That-
for those.
So they were,
It only allows for the purchase.
State contract.
So it doesn't need to be amended.
okay. Greg said it doesn't need to be amended? Because Ann said that Ann is saying that there were no bids solicited.
I don't know that he did or he didn't.
Mhm.
You awarded is the state bid list.
Okay.
And that's the bid number.
All right, Greg is saying that we awarded off the state bid list.
And that's
Right.
the decree.
Right.
That's the result.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's fine.
he said that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Greg. Okay. Roll
So-
call vote.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Councilman Shannell?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi? Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 8, I'm sorry.
9.
9, number 9 is a resolution authorizing purchase of pre-owned equipment for the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Shannell, would you read number 9, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon recommendation of the Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby authorizes the purchase of a pre-owned 2000 Leeboy 1000B track paver from Raymond Ferrari, Mahopac, New York, in an amount not to exceed $15,000. Be it further resolved that the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make all budgetary transfers necessary to effect this authorization and purchase. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 10, is a resolution authorizing the release of a bond for VIP Wash and Lube, tax map number 55.12-2-5. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read number 10, please?
Yes, whereas application has been made by VIP Wash and Lube for the total release of a site plan bond posted in accordance with the land subdivision and/or zoning regulations for tax map number 55.12-2-5 for site improvements at 118 Old Route 6 Carmel. And whereas said application has been reviewed by the town engineer and release of the bond has been recommended and approved by the town engineer and the Town of Carmel Planning Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the release of the aforementioned site plan bond, Tompkins Mahopac Bank, account number 401010147, in the amount of $134,000. I offer this resolution as read.
Second it.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 11, is a resolution accepting a proposal and authorizing payment for repairs, Carmel Sewer District Number 2, the wastewater treatment plant. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 11?
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 2, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes acceptance of the proposal for the purchase and installation of a replacement control cabinet for the variable frequency drive for a return sludge pump located at Carmel Sewer District Number 2 wastewater treatment plant by Owens Electric, Mahopac, New York, in accordance with the proposal dated February 26, 2020, and at a cost not to exceed $10,356. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation required to accept said proposal as authorized herein. And be it further resolved that Town Controller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this authorization as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 12, is a resolution acknowledging and authorizing emergency repairs for Carmel Water District Number 2. Councilman Borelli, would you read number 12, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 2, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, hereby acknowledges and authorizes the emergency repairs required for replacement and installation of one high-lift turbine pump at the Carmel Water District Number 2 wastewater treatment plant by S.B. Church of Oxford, Connecticut, at a cost not to exceed $35,900, in accordance with the invoice dated April 10, 2020, as attached hereto and made a part thereof. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to accept the proposal authorized herein. And be it further resolved that Town Controller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, the 13th and final voting resolution this evening is a resolution acknowledging performance of emergency repairs, Carmel Water District and Carmel Sewer Districts. Councilman Shannon, would you read 13, please?
Resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of the various water and sewer districts of the Town of Carmel, hereby acknowledges the emergency performance of water and sewer district collection system/distribution system and treatment facilities repairs, specifically those performed in Carmel Water District Number 2 and Carmel Sewer District Number 2, all as fully detailed in the memorandum of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to the Town Board dated June 30th, 2020, which is attached hereto and made a part thereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
And Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, that completes this evening's Town Board voting meeting agenda. I don't believe there's anyone here that would like to comment on the items that we covered this evening, so I'm going to ask for a
So
motion
moved.
to close the voting meeting.
So, second.
So moved.
Second.
Set by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Got it. Sorry, Dom. All right, my mic was off.
Oh,
So I need a motion to open the work session.
So moved.
second.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Good night, Ann.
Good night.
See you tomorrow.
Good night,
Bye,
Ann.
Annie.
All right, so the town board work session is open at this time. And let me just get my, hold on one second. Okay. You there, Greg? All right. I just shifted gears a little bit. All right, so the first item, the town board work session is review of the town board minutes of July 8th, 2020. Unless any town board members would like to comment on those minutes, we're going to move on. No comment? Okay. So the first item at the work session, Nick DeSantis, who is not here, but Alan Casey is here from PKF O'Connor Davies LLP, and they're going to present the review of the 2019 annual CAFRA report. CAFRA stands for Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. For those of you that didn't know what CAFRA meant, that's what it means. And O'Connor Davies is the firm, the accounting firm that reviewed our 2019 financials and have prepared the annual CAFRA report. So, Alan, where are you?
Thank you, Supervisor.
Okay, Alan, the floor is yours, Alan. I know you're over there somewhere, so
I'm
so
over
take
here.
so take it
Short
away.
fire.
Do you want me to turn the lights down, or is
No, I mean, it's fine for me. I have no issue.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would look at the smart TV in the room where Alan is sitting, he's going to be going over. He's got a PowerPoint going over the CAFRA report for all of those who are interested in that. So, Alan, take it away.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I do have a copy of the actual CAFRA report in my hands, and the report is about 125 pages long.
Yeah, pull the mic a little closer
Oh.
to you, Alan.
So the people at home can hear.
Okay, and the report is about 125 pages long, and it includes substantial information, statistical section that go back 10 years that were prepared by Mary Ann Maxwell in the Finance Department. But I basically took a synopsis of what's contained in there, and I'm going to go over some of the highlights of that report. So on the agenda, we're going to go over the audit results, which is the auditor's opinion, the general fund balance, a retrospective, and the general fund, the budget to actual, both the revenues and the expenditures, and then a summary of the other funds within the town. And in 2019, the town implemented a new Government Accounting Standards Board statement, also known as GASB number 84, and then we'll have the summary. So the audit results is in the financial section of the CAFRA report. It's on page 1, and basically it's the auditor's opinion, and it states that we completed the audit of the 2019 financial statements in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America. And basically the purpose of the audit was to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free of material misstatement. And based upon the work that we performed in the audit, we were able to render what's known as an unmodified or a clean opinion on the 2019 financial statements. This is a look back at the general fund balance from 2016 through 2019. This is a new format that was implemented about 5 years ago due to another GASB pronouncement, number 54. Basically, they changed the classifications, so most people should be familiar with it by now. I'll just go through some of them. The non-spendable, which are prepaid expenditures, had an amount of $383,000. Restricted fund balance is funds set aside by the town board for particular purposes, and the money could only be used for those purposes. You have $200,000 in retirement reserve, and you also have $1,815,000 in a reserve for employee benefits upon their retirement. You've committed certain funds, $400,000 for future budgets, $2 million for future capital projects, and $150,000 for vehicle purchases. In the assigned category, you have purchases on order which are encumbrances. Basically, those are purchases that were placed at the end of the year for which you haven't received the goods and services as of December 31st. You're also appropriating $360,000 from this fund balance to balance the 2020 budget. Last year, the amount that you appropriated was $130,000. And you've also assigned almost $1.1 million for tax certs. The last line is the unassigned fund balance, which is $2.9 million. This is the current year summary of the general fund budget actual summary. The columns left to right, you have the original budget, the final budget, and the actual results. The total revenues, you had a positive variance of $176,000. Overall, the revenues increased by 5% from the prior year. The expenditures came in at $18,572,000, and that generated a positive budgetary variance of $2.6 million, and the expenditures were about 2.5% higher than the prior year. In the total other financing, it's sources and uses, but the majority of it is transfers out. And there were transfers out to the Highway Fund, $240,000, the Capital Projects Fund, $309,000, and the Debt Service Fund, $885,000 to pay off the principal and interest on the debt. And that amount decreased by $188,000 from the prior year. This is a more detailed analysis of the budget to actual revenues for the general fund. As you can see, the original budget was $20,538,000. It went up slightly to $20,708,000, and the actual results came in at $20,885,000, again generating the positive budgetary variance of $175,000. As I said, overall, the revenues increased by $561,000. Now, due to COVID-19 in 2020, you're going to see certain revenues that may be affected by what's going on. I was talking to Marianne a little earlier. Some of them will be, the revenues will be down, but also the corresponding expenditures will also be less, so the impact will not be that great on the town. Some of them are the park and rec fees, the mortgage tax. Apparently, the mortgage tax is up because apparently everybody is leaving New York City and heading to the suburbs.
Wouldn't you?
I live in the suburbs, but unfortunately, I have an apartment to sell in the city, so everybody.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. So the mortgage tax is up, which is a good thing. Overall, I think the town pretty much, there are only a few revenues that would be affected by COVID. As I said, some of them are going to be offset by a reduction in the expenditures. So I believe that the town will weather the effects of COVID-19. On the next slide, we have the budget to actual expenditures. And I just wanted to point out certain of the larger variants in the general government support. The variance was $780,000, and basically that was spread throughout the categories. In the general government support, you always put money aside for contingency, and at the end of the year, you hadn't spent $190,000 of that amount, so that contributed to that. The public safety had a positive variance of $1.2 million, and the police was $1.1 million less, basically due to less overtime in 2019 versus 18, and some retired officers in 19. The Culture and Rec had a positive variance of $367,000, and that was in parks of $359,000. Apparently, there were some various capital improvements that were budgeted for that weren't done in 2019, so basically that money will carry over to 2020. On the next slide, you have an analysis of all the other town funds, the revenues and the expenditures, and in all cases, there was an excess of revenues over expenditures. The Capital Projects Fund, if you look at the fund balance, that's the only one that has a deficit of $7.9 million. But within the Capital Projects Fund, you have bond anticipation notes outstanding to the tune of $12.3 million. Those are different than a bond because they get redeemed every year, and as those every year when that money is redeemed, it becomes revenue. So the 12.3 is certainly greater than the deficit of 8 million, so that'll eventually turn around. All the other funds had positive variances, and if you look on the bottom left, you'll see all the special districts. The Water District, 2.8 million, the Street Lighting District, Sewer is 3.2, the Fire is 6.7, and partially because the fire is so high is because a few years ago there was another GASB pronouncement, so the LoSAP investments are now recorded in the Fire District, and the investments are in, 1.8 million, so that contributes to that. So overall, all the districts, all the other funds of the town are in a healthy position. Okay, as I mentioned, the town implemented GASB 84. Basically what it did, it took your fiduciary fund and it converted it to a custodial fund. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see the agency fund at the end of 18. All you had in there were deposits payable. GASB determined that these were monies that really were part of the town's funds, so they're now recorded in the general fund. And as you can see, at 2019, the custodial fund, the new name, has zero. Okay, so there are no funds that you're holding in a custodial capacity for any other governments or individuals at this point. Okay? And in summary, again, we issued an unmodified opinion, the best opinion you could receive. You've received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting through your CAFR. That's 27 consecutive years. That's not an easy feat. So congratulations to that. You've maintained your AA1 rating for Moody's, and basically a AA1 rating is an obliger, has very strong capacity to meet its financial commitments. And we also issued a report to management, to those charged with governance. It's known as a management letter. There were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. There are a few minor control deficiencies, which Mary Ann is aware of, and they'll be addressed in the coming year. So overall, the town had a very good year. The audit went very well. The finance department was very prepared, and it was very smooth. So,
Excellent.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent.
excellent.
Yes.
It's good when you can do that.
It's good, yeah. And to Mary Ann's credit, Mary Ann, the town controller, she does an excellent job. Mary Ann's credit, she does an excellent job as the town controller with the town's finances. Your taxpayer money that you pay is in good hands because we have a crackerjack staff in the controller's office led by Mary Ann Maxwell, the town controller, and they've done an excellent job. I know. So kudos to you, Mary Ann, for your continued work, as the town controller, watching our finances, and really, we have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers, and Mary Ann has a greater responsibility because she watches your money. She invests your money, and she does a terrific job with that. So thank you, Mary Ann. I know you would agree, Alan, right?
Pardon me?
You would agree, right?
I would definitely agree.
Yeah, and I think the board feels the same way, Mary Ann.
Well, as I said, this report is about 125 pages. Basically, Mary Ann provides all the information to us. We audit it, but all the information comes from Mary Ann and her department, including the statistical section in the back of the report, which is about 25 pages. It covers 10 years' worth of statistics, and that all comes from the Finance
Yeah.
Department in Mary Ann.
And that AA1 bond rating is, it's always important, but
Absolutely.
it's even more important because we're looking to spend monies, taxpayers' monies in Carmel Water District Number 2 for a water treatment plant and other infrastructure improvements. So when we borrow money, we borrow it at a much less interest rate because of the town's fund balance and because of the Moody's and the AA1 rating.
Right,
So,
and your financial condition overall.
yeah, Alan, what was the town's current fund balance, or Mary Ann? What do we have in our current reserves as of your report?
The general fund has an unassigned fund balance of, one second, almost $3 million is the unassigned, in the general fund, which means
Unassigned.
that money is free and clear.
Okay,
Right,
okay.
or page.
And the overall fund
The
balance?
overall fund balance is $22,259,000.
9.8 in the general fund?
Just shy of 10 million.
Just shy of 10 million.
And if you back out the capital projects fund, which had a deficit of $8 million, the overall fund balance would be over $30 million
It's been
of all
growing
funds.
It's been growing, yeah, substantially, yeah. Back in the economic recession, back in '08, '09, '10, and '11, I want to say, it had dropped down significantly. It was reduced to, I think we got down to 1 point, Marion? About 4 million. All right,
And we
so-
made it, yeah, we made it a point every year to bounce it up, and we've been continuously doing that. So
Yeah.
it's important,
Yeah,
very important.
okay. Okay, so our finances are strong. They're good. They're in good hands, and thank you, Alan.
Very
Does the town
welcome.
board members have any questions with respect to the?
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
Okay, next item on the agenda, number 2 is consider additions and deletions to the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. We have correspondence from Brian Lena, the correspondence secretary. Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department has added the following persons to our rolls. We would respectfully request to add the following: Nithea J. Thomas from Mahopac and John A. Scalambrini from Mahopac as well. So 2 individuals they'd like to add to the rolls of the Mahopac Fire Department. I'd like to thank those 2 new members for their service to the community as members of the Mahopac Fire Department. Any questions or comments regarding the additions to the Mahopac Fire Department? Okay. Okay, next item, Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, consider request to authorize donation of sick time. You have a memo here from Highway Superintendent Simone. Employee number 2719 had a work-related injury on June 12th of this year. He has been out due to the injury and is seeking further medical evaluation to assess the extent of his injury. He's not eligible for comp time under the IBT bargaining agreement. His doctor has determined that he will be out until at least July 27th. Therefore, employee number 2719 is requesting authorization to at least July 27th. Therefore, employee 2719 is requesting authorization to donate 80 hours of sick time so the employee will have additional time for recovery. That number is wrong because employee 2719 is the injured worker, and there is another employee, and that's not the employee. Number can't be the same as the injured employee. So we're going to have to change that. We'll find out what that number is. What's that?
It'll be corrected in the resolution.
Okay, all right, it's going to be corrected in the resolution. I'll get the correct number, Greg. Okay, any questions or comments regarding this item?
No,
No?
very nice.
Okay, so 4, 5, 6, and 7, Rich Franzetti, Town Engineer. He's here. Rich, welcome. And Rich is here for East of Hudson Community Wastewater Planning Assistant Grant Program. Rich?
As the board is aware, the town of Carmel has been approved for the New England Interstate Water Pollution Commission, New York City DEP grants as part of the East of Hudson Community Wastewater Planning Assistant Grant Program. They are $300,000 for Lake Cassie, $375,000 for Lake Gilead, $300,000 Lakeview Road, and $425,000 for Mud Pond Brook. Program is part of the 27th filtration avoidance determination, which requires the DEP to establish grant programs in these areas where poorly functioning individual septic systems have the potential to impact water quality. The funds are to be used by municipalities to finance engineering studies to assist those municipalities in evaluating wastewater solutions that could be taken to mitigate the identified water quality impacts. The reports will be used by the municipalities to plan and determine costs for identified wastewater solution projects so that they may have information necessary to seek financing through the state or federal funding sources, including but not limited to the 2017 Clean Water Infrastructure Act. NIWIPIC is serving as the program administrator, and they have provided documents for the town to adopt in order to enter into this grant program. The town will need to sign the agreements, the DBE form, insurance certificates by August 31st if we want to participate in this grant program. A separate resolution should be adopted for each of these study areas.
So Rich, oh, I'm sorry, Kenny, go ahead.
There's a packet for each one, each grant?
Yes, sir.
That has to be completed?
Yes.
For each individual?
Mhm.
Okay.
And they all have to be completed by August 31st?
Yeah, the signing of the packages is relatively straightforward. So the way the process is going to go, and we've worked, the engineering department, received this initially. We shared it with the grant writer. Our relationships with New York City DEP helped us, but the grant writer submitted the paperwork for us. The next step is we sign this agreement, and then we have to put an RFP out for these services, these engineering consulting services, and there's all timelines within that. That's those services will then, you have to have the consultant on board by, I think, January, and then the study completed within 6 or 8 months after that, and then we go from there, so.
Oh, all right, so everything doesn't have to be done by the 31st?
No.
That's
This
what I'm
is-
saying, oh
you
my
need to-
God, I don't know how
So the
you're
town
gonna
board
do
needs
that.
to make an action, have a resolution to go ahead and sign the
Prior
documents.
to
We'll
that.
sign the requisite documents, get all the information in. The sooner we get it in, the sooner we can then let out an RFP. We
Yep.
will be letting out the RFP, we would probably let out 4 distinct RFPs, one for each of, but again, we can talk about that. It might just be one RFP where we'll have, you can take 2 from column A, 2 from column B if you want to, and whoever is the lowest, we'll have the option to go, who's going to give us the best deal.
Okay,
1.2 million,
perfect,
right?
thank you.
About 1.2 million.
And the work's going to consist on determining what the wastewater runoff is and how to mitigate the less pollutions for the lakes?
Right, so,
And
so, so in this area, you have Lake Cassie, you have your blue-green algae problem there, the HABs, you have Lake Gilead, which is relatively pristine, but the DEP wants to protect it as best as possible. Lakeview Road, you have that going directly into Croton Reservoir, which if you've seen it in the summer, it does have the blue-green algae problem. And Mud Pond Brook, which is right over here behind us, they're looking to control the water that could capture, treat, take care of the septic systems in the area, put them into maybe, I don't know what the solution will be, right? But every one of these is in a sewer district. Lake Cassie could potentially tap into the Mapac plant. Gilead can tap into Sewer District 2. Lakeview Road, Sewer District 2, and Mud Pond Brook can tap into the Mapac plant. So, again, there are pros and cons to having all that. Every one of those speedies permits would have to be looked at. So that's what the assessment would be looking at those permits to make sure, hey, is there sufficient capacity to accept this extra flow? Do the plants need to be upgraded now to accept this extra flow? That's the kind of stuff that will come, or information that will be gathered and presented as part of this. Similar to what was done for the Mayapack expansion down Route 6, and with to going into the plant here that was performed, I think, by the county, it would be that similar type of assessment.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Rich.
9, 13, almost 14, 1.4 million
It was a good job getting the grant money.
in
Yep.
grant funding
Yep.
for these studies. So,
Big change
yeah,
from-
let's fill.
Big change from the past.
Yeah. Already, see? Success. All right, Rich. So do what you need to do. Greg, I believe we're going to have to authorize this by resolution, correct?
Correct, either acceptance of the grant or signing of the grant disbursement agreement. Rich sent me some stuff today in response to my question, so you will need to authorize it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So you'll prepare a resolution then, Greg, for the 5th, authorizing it? Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Okay, any other further questions for the town engineer for this item? No?
No.
All right, let's move on, Rich, then to number 5. This consider request to authorize purchase of a pump for Carmel Sewer District Number 2, Willow Road.
So Infomark, the operators of Carmel Sewer District 2, advised the engineering department on July 14th that the pumps at the Willow Road pump station were not functioning properly, and Evan Septic had to pump out the station on 2 occasions in that prior week. The department considered the failure of those pumps an emergency situation warranting immediate replacement. We authorized Infomark to purchase the necessary equipment to purchase and install the pump. The cost of the purchase of 2 pumps is $13,486.20, $6,743.10 per pump, and the labor to install $1,200 for a total cost of $14,686.20. The Infomark has indicated that the 2 pumps at this station are 12 years old, and the expected lifespan of the new pumps is approximately 10 years old. We've advised the Controller's Office of this expenditure, and there are sufficient funds for this purchase. This is being presented to the board for informational purposes. Really, no additional board action is necessary because we've already approved the purchase of that.
Okay.
But where is the DNS? Is it in here? The DNS proposal?
Right here, 13,486.
No, the actual, like I have Granger's here with it spelled out about the
It's
Gould.
the one after there's Granger's.
Then I
and
have
then
Pump
there's one from Pump
Products.
Products, and there's like an email after that, Willow Pump.
From DNS.
Yeah, that's
But-
DNS's.
But you know what? Can you do me a favor? Can you ask DNS to, you see like how the other people have like the specific model number, the series and all of that, the voltage, the horsepower, the phases? The only thing I see for DNS is what the cost is. I don't see what we're getting for that.
Okay, I will ask him to get that. When I spoke with Tom Brand, they're getting the exact same pumps that are in there right now. So it would be like the other 2, but I'll make sure that DNS's quote has that specific information.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everything is apples to apples, and I can't see that with this.
How big is the pump? The size of it?
7.5 horsepower?
Or how, size, physical size? Is it?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you, Rich.
It's probably, it's 6-8 inches width, and it's probably about 2 foot tall.
A lot of money for a pump.
Well, this pump is pumping all the way up Willow. It has a lot of head to overcome, so yes.
Right.
This isn't just a regular sump pump that you keep in your basement in case you have a flood, so.
Right.
Okay, any further questions
No
for the
questions,
engineer? Over here? No? Okay, Rich, go on to number 6. That's consider request to authorize purchase of a high lift pump for Carmel Water District 2.
So if the board recalls, 2 weeks ago when I was here, and as you voted on or discussed this evening, we talked about a high lift pump. At that time, we had a high lift pump that was totally out, and the other one that looked to be repaired. When it was being sent to be repaired, they found that it was in worse condition than they expected. And it's determined that we should probably replace that pump versus repairing it. So, because the repair would have been around $31,000. Once you start looking at everything, and we can get a new one for $35,900, this way we know we have a brand-new pump there. So we authorize that purchase as an emergency, and again, there's no action needed by the board. Well, you could put a resolution like we did last time, but that was the logic behind it. So there are 4 high-lift pumps, 275 ones, 200, both 100 ones are out, if your board recalls, and we have a diesel one running there right now that is supplying the water.
All right, so was the second pump ordered, Rich, the new one?
Yes, it was ordered that day. So
Okay.
it was a 3 to 4 week lead time for that. So
For that one?
Yep.
Should the one pump
it
be
should be
delivered,
coming in. It's either this week or early next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're replacing 2 of those lift pumps? high lift
Correct.
pumps. Okay. That's where that motor's running?
Right.
That high lift pump?
Yeah.
Up on,
Noisy.
yeah, up on Route 6 where the water treatment plant is?
Yeah.
We've gotten a couple of calls regarding the
Right,
noise coming
we
from-
looked into alternatives to maybe have an electric pump there. We couldn't find any that were rated for, water quality, for water use. They, mostly they're used for slurries, they're used for fracking, so we didn't want to have that as part of a system. And then we'd have to get the electric to be wired in to have them. So we did look into those options, trying to get something different that wasn't as
Yeah,
noisy.
and I haven't gotten any other calls other than that one, so,
So the operators have been trying to use it only during the day to keep the water going, so that's kind of where they're at. They did inform me today, Infomart, Tom Brand called me. They're maintaining water, but it seems that there might be a leak, so they're actively searching for a leak. And of course, now that it's raining, which is great because we need it, it's harder to find the leaks, but, so,
You're never happy.
no, I can't be. These are the trials and tribulations of this type of work.
All right, Rich, go on to number 7, is to consider acknowledgement of emergency repairs and services for Carmel Water District 7.
So this is to present the board, to advise the Board of Emergency invoices in excess of $5,000. This is Carmel Water District 7 Vineland Pump Station well failures on June 29th, 2020. B&J, the operators of Carmel Water 7, alerted the department that due to the June 28th, 2020 storm, well pumps 2, 3, and 4 failed due to lightning power surges. Below are invoices to repair the pumps. They've been submitted to insurance for reimbursement. There was well 3 was $13,474, well 4 was $8,075, and well 2, $10,400. Again, I wrote it again. They've been submitted to insurance for reimbursement, and this is being put on the agenda for a matter of record.
Okay. All right. We haven't heard from the insurance carrier yet on the claim?
No, I can follow up on that, so.
Okay. Yeah, if you could follow up and let me know, Rich. It's through NYMER, Rich? The NYMER claim?
Yeah.
Our insurance carrier?
Yeah, Spain.
Through Spain? Okay. Okay. Is that it? You done?
I could go on, but I'm sure everybody wants to
No,
know. Mike's
don't.
shaking his head. I'm shaking his head.
All right, so that completes the work session agenda items for tonight. Since there's no members of the public that are here that are going to comment on any of our agenda items, we're going to close this meeting, and we're going to go into executive session. We have one other item, and that is another personnel item. It's an interview with Lieutenant Stephen Kunz of the Carmel Police Department personnel. So
And
I need a
Kenny, just real quick, I just wanted to remind everybody to, if you want banners like this here, the Hometown Heroes, go online. There's a form to fill out, and this is what the banners look like.
Oh.
We have quite a few coming in, so get them out, and they'll be put up in the first round. All right, it's our hometownheroes.us. That's it.
Oh, Susie, Richie Othman
I
called.
spoke with him.
Okay, you did?
Yep.
All right, so you took care of that?
Yep.
All right, good. Perfect. So how many more, how many are actually available, you know?
As many, we could put up 100 of them. Whoever wants to put them in.
Okay, and when does the order have to be submitted by?
As soon as possible. Once he gets a certain amount, he's going to start printing them and put them up. We're only going to have them up through September, so if you wait, it may not get up until next year. That's why I'm saying get them in now. You know, there is no cutoff date. You can do it anytime. But again, if you want them put up this year in honor of your hometown hero, get it in ASAP.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very easy. Just go to our hometownheroes.us, and then I also have some of these forms here
Okay.
that they can come and take.
I think Richie was getting 3 of them, right? 3
I
or
think
4
he's
of
getting more than that. Yeah,
them? That's nice.
yep.
Okay.
So,
All right. All right.
okay?
Okay, thanks, Susie. Any
Yes.
other announcements from anybody? All right, need a motion to go into executive
So
session?
I'll make a motion.
So moved by Councilman Shannell, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good night, everyone. Be well. We're going to close the meeting from executive session. We'll be back here on August 5th. No meeting next week. No meeting next week. It's the 29th. It's the 5th Wednesday of the month. So we'll see you back here on August 5th for a town board voting meeting. Good night, everyone. Be well.